月老的传说。
The legend of the Chinese matchmaking god.
唐朝的时候，有一个叫韦固的年轻人，个性十分挑剔。
During the Tang dynasty, there was a young man named Wei Gu who was very picky.
文武双全。
What a master of both the pen and the sword.
110轮。
The 110th round of matchmaking.
哇，嘴巴太大，
Wow. Mouth too big.
眼睛太小，
Eyes too small.
不识字的我不要。
I don't want one who is illiterate.
所以都快过了结婚的年龄了，他还没有娶到老婆。
It was no surprise then that he had not yet gotten a wife, despite being almost past the marriageable age.
古代中国人结婚都很早，通常女子14岁，男子16岁就结婚了。这么做是因为古代人寿命不长，早结婚可以早点生育后代。
The ancient Chinese people used to get married very early, usually at the age of 14 for women and 16 for men. The reason for this was that people didn't live long in ancient times, so marrying early would allow them to have their offsprings earlier.
有一天，韦固出去郊游，
One day, Wei Gu went out for an excursion.
玩累了，晚上就住在城南的一家旅馆里。
Exhausted from the fun, he stayed in an inn in the south of the city at night.
我的房间要干净明亮，舒适安静，坐北朝南，24小时热水供应。
My room should be clean and bright, comfortable and quiet, south-facing, and supplied with hot water 24 hours a day.
半夜的时候，月亮出来了，挂在高高的树梢上。韦固踏着月光到后院散步。
In the middle of the night, the moon came out and hung high above the treetops, and Wei Gu stepped into the moonlight to take a walk in the backyard.
月上柳梢头，人约黄昏后。
When the moon rose above the willow trees, the young people went out on dates under them.
路上，他碰见一个白发苍苍的老人在月光下看书，身上背着一个大大的锦囊。
On the way, he bumped into a white-haired old man reading a book in the moonlight, and carrying a big sack on his back.
咦，怎么半夜还有个白发苍苍的老人家在月下看书？
Huh? How come there is a grey-haired old man reading a book under the moonlight in the middle of the night?
出于好奇，韦固便上前问道：“
老人家，你看的是什么书啊？”
Piqued by curiosity, Wei Gu went up and asked,
Old man, what book are you reading?
我这个书叫婚读，是记载人间姻缘的书。
This book of mine is called the Marriage Document. It is a book that records all marriages on earth.
韦固又问：“
那你这个锦囊又装的是什么呀？”
Wei Gu asked again.
And what is in this sack of yours?
老人从锦囊里抽出一根红线，往天空一晃。
The old man pulled out a red thread from the sack and swished it through the sky.
只见一道红光在韦固的脚上转了一圈，然后向北而去。
A red light turned around on Wei Gu's foot and then went north.
这锦囊里面装的是红线。
The sack was holding the red thread.
只要将线的一端系在男子脚上，另一端系在女子脚上， 那么不管这两个人相隔多远，年龄多悬殊，将来都会结成夫妻。
As long as one end of the thread was tied to the man's foot and the other end to the woman's foot, then no matter how far apart or how different in ages these two people were, they would still be married in the future.
月下老人有2件法宝，一是婚毒，一是红线。婚毒又叫月书，红线又叫红绳、赤绳。据说，只要是被月老记入婚毒，或者被红线系在一起的姻缘，无论如何也不可改变。
The matchmaking god has 2 magical treasures. One is the marriage document and the other is the red thread. The marriage document is also called the moon book, and the red thread is also called the red rope. It is said that as long as the marriage is written into the marriage document by the matchmaking god or tied together by the red thread, it will be irrevocable no matter what.
古代婚礼上有新郎新娘牵红巾的仪式，这个红巾其实就是由传说中月老的红线演化而来的。
In ancient Chinese weddings, there was a ceremony in which the bride and groom would be holding the red scarf. This red scarf actually evolved from the legendary red thread of the matchmaking god.
这么奇妙。
维固惊讶地倒吸了一口气，并连忙问道：
那我的妻子在哪儿呢？
How marvelous!
Wei Gu gasped in amazement and asked hurriedly,
Then where is my wife?
老人掐指一算，
城北卖菜老太婆的女儿。
The old man predicted with his fingers.
She will be the daughter of the old woman selling vegetables in the north of the city.
咻！老人说完就消失不见了。
Whoosh! The old man disappeared right after he finished speaking.
第二天，维固好好打扮了一番，来到城北，找到卖菜的老太婆。
The next day, Wei Gu dressed up meticulously, traveled to the north of the city, and found the old woman selling vegetables.
一看才知道，他的女儿今年才3岁，蓬头垢面，头发稀疏，面黄肌瘦。
At first glance, he realized that her daughter was merely 3 years old, with a disheveled appearance, sparse hair, and an emaciated face.
看他娘的长相，她长大了也好看不到哪去。
Her mother's face showed that she would not be any better looking when she grew up.
维固气得拔出剑，就向小女孩刺去。一剑刺中小女孩的眉心，然后迅速转头就逃走了。
Wei Gu was so angry that he drew his sword and stabbed the little girl, hitting her right in the center of her eyebrows, then swiftly turned and fled.
14年过去了。
14 years had passed.
心高气傲、挑3拣4的维固还没有结婚。
The proud and choosy Wei Gu had not yet married.
一个叫王泰的大官觉得维固是个人才，决定把自己17岁的女儿嫁给他。
A high-ranking official named Wang Tai thought Wei Gu was a talented man and decided to marry his 17-year-old daughter to him.
哇， 好美啊！
Wow. What a beauty.
韦固盯着王太女儿的画像看了又看，觉得很满意，就马上答应了这门婚事。
Wei Gu stared at the portrait of Wang Tai's daughter and was extremely satisfied. So he agreed to the marriage instantly.
新婚当晚，韦固看到自己的小娇妻样貌非凡，温柔大方，心里真高兴。
On the wedding night, Wei Gu was ecstatic to see his lovely wife's exceptional good looks and demure elegance.
可为什么妻子的眉心老是贴着一朵花钿呢？
But why was there always a flower pattern makeup in between his wife's eyebrows?
韦固觉得很奇怪。
Wei Gu felt very strange.
花钿又叫花子、面花、贴花，是古代女子贴在眉间和脸上的一种小装饰。
The flower pattern makeup, or plum blossom makeup, is a small decoration that ancient Chinese women put in between their eyebrows and on their face.
追问之下，妻子透露说，
那是因为我小时候被坏人刺伤，眉心留下了疤痕。
When pressed, his wife revealed.
That's because I was stabbed by a bad man when I was a child. And it had left a scar in between my eyebrows.
韦固大惊，接着问道：
你妈妈是在城北卖菜吗？
Subsequently, a shocked Wei Gu asked,
Is your mom the one selling vegetables in the north of the city?
对呀，王太是我的叔叔，我父母死后才把我当女儿一样抚养。
Yeah. Wang Tai is my uncle and raised me like a daughter only after my parents had died.
韦固恍然大悟，才知道当年果然遇上了神仙。
It then dawned upon Wei Gu that he had indeed encountered an immortal being back then.
他把事情原原本本地告诉了妻子。
Wei Gu told his wife the whole story truthfully. 妻子听了之后，也原谅了韦固。 After hearing it, his wife forgave him.
两人从此相亲相爱，白头到老。
From then on, the two of them loved each other and remained a devoted couple till the end of their lives.
这件事传出去后，人们都知道有位神仙专管人间姻缘。
After news spread about this incident, people all learned that there was a god who specialized in earthly marriages.
大家不知道神仙叫什么名字，就叫他月下老人或月老。
People did not know what the name of this god was. As such, they called him the matchmaking god, or old man under the moon, in literal sense.
未婚男女都去拜月老，希望求得一段好姻缘。
The unmarried men and women would go to worship the matchmaking god, in the hope of seeking a good hand in marriage.
月老也就为了人间的姻缘忙得昏天黑地。
And so, the matchmaking god became heavily burdened with the hectic business of arranging marriages on earth.
月老太忙了，就难免有系错绳子的时候。
When the matchmaking god became too busy, there were inevitably times when he tied the wrong ropes.
Oh no!
所以太爷爷才会一个人娶了3房1太太。
That's why great-grandpa in ancient times married 3 wives on his own.